Ferdinand, a member of the Frank Warren stable, won his ABA title in 1983. That was at super heavy. His pro career spans only 4 fights. He's won all of those fights and won them very quickly indeed. Today his heavyweight opponent was another Midlander, Steve G, who's been around as a professional for 6 years. In the scheduled 6-rounder, Ferdinand is wearing the white shorts, and we join it for the 4th.
4th round, scheduled 6 heavyweights. Keith Ferdinand in the white trunks at 16 stone is being given a run for his money by the workman Steve G from Birmingham, who's 15.3½. And the unbeaten Ferdinand now into the 4th round for the first time in his 5th professional fight. It's turned out far better opposition than some of the Americans that we have seen with Keith Ferdinand, Jim, around the country. Seen all of them, actually, haven't we?
Yeah, and this is a good test for Ferdinand. He's having to think his way around here. G's not making too many mistakes. He's banging over quite a nice right hand of his own. He hasn't troubled Ferdinand, but he's keeping him thinking all the time. And Ferdinand's having to try to solve things out. It's not an easy match for him. It's a good test.
Let go. Let go, Jim. You're holding, G. Let go.
And referee Paris nagging G a little bit about holding. He was calling out quite clearly there, let go, G. But I tell you, if a big fella like this, like a big tank rumbling at you, I suppose you can spoil a bit close in, all the better for him. Try and prevent him from getting with you with his best shots anyway. Just getting a bit bruised around the face, and quite understandably there, G.
Let go, G. Let go. Let go, G.
It's got to be hard work being a little fella of 15.3, Jim, against this big man. I mean, I know there's not that much weight difference, but he looks twice as big, doesn't he?
Yeah, but you look at the shoulders and the build Ferdinand has. There's a lot of power in there. Ferdinand's doing fine. He's certainly winning the fight all right, but he needs a bit more technique. But you always have the trouble with heavyweights finding sparring. It's always difficult, but just a little bit more experience is what's needed to open G up. But this is an excellent match for him. This is the best match to date.
So then inside the last half minute of the 4th. Well, I think maybe suit Ferdinand a bit better to try and get this fight at long range a bit now. He's allowed G to come at him all the time. So having got that over with Keith Ferdinand now, the first time he's gone beyond the 4th, so he's into professional territory. And the co-promoter's young son there, Davidson, reminding us it's the 5th coming up. And Steve G just quietly getting on with his job and hoping to do what his trainer asked him to do, the old left-hand jab there. And emphasising 2 rounds to go.
Seconds out, round 5.
5th round. And Keith Ferdinand, billed now of Islington in London, but from Coventry, well in front in this fight with DG, but as Jim Watt's been saying, G's really given him the opposition we've needed now in his 5th pro fight. No knockdown so far.
That's it, Steve. Run again. Put them together now. Left, right. Left, right. Come on, back, back.
Looking back, I remember this is how Steve G fought the American smoking Mike Perkins in Atlantic City. He just frustrated him, got in close and swapped punches with him, but he's just not powerful enough to keep Ferdinand off now. Oh, clump around the ear there, I tell you, you knew that. Oh, he's trying to act his way through it, G, but I'm afraid that stunned him a bit. Big, cumbersome swipes, but effective and hurtful, I would think. He absorbs a punch well, though, Jim, doesn't he?
Yeah, see, he knows how to take a punch. He's always watching the opponent. He sees the punch coming over. He tenses his jaw muscles and his shoulders, takes the strain of the punch, and then he thinks about the next one. He knows what he's doing. Very experienced.
That's the lad.
Stop holding. You're holding. Fair. Yeah, let go.
Can't win the fight, G, at this stage unless he produces one out of the bag, because he just hasn't thrown enough punches, and the referee's been nagging him a little bit about holding.
Don't hold you, you're holding.
A little bit of frustration, I suspect, in Ferdinand now, because he's really hitting him with his best shots and nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he hasn't really got through cleanly to the chin. But I'm quite impressed again by Ferdinand, because this has been a difficult test. Just getting warned here. Yeah.
Calling for a clean break there was obvious. So it's getting a bit messy at close quarters anyway. So the final blowing in the ear is for Steve G. Some replay, Jim. You get an idea of the swipes coming in from Ferdinand.
Yeah, but you can see how good a survivor G is. At all times he's looking at Ferdinand, sees the punches coming over, keeps his defence together. Ferdinand just a little bit wild, losing his balance on his feet, but plenty of power in these punches. Good punches from Ferdinand, just a little bit crude at this stage, and obviously not getting through in target.
Seconds out, 6th and last round.
Coming out for the 6th and final round of this heavyweight slog, and it's been a hard one. The first time that Keith Ferdinand in the white trunks has been taken the distance in his pro career now, and he's still unbeaten. And Steve G in his 40th fight has really hung in there with him. So he's 16 stone Ferdinand, 15 3.5 G, and Ferdinand unable to put this experienced pro down. And in the last couple of rounds, Ferdinand well ahead because he's thrown more punches. In the last couple of rounds, he looked as though he just might get G over, but he really absorbs a good punch. And he's come back all the time. He's a big-hearted fella. He's been in with the top boys, Gary Mason and Anders Eklund and Hugh Roy Curry, Steve G, so he knows his way around all the time. And it'll remind the old Marine Ferdinand that he's still got a lot of battling to do. He wants to make his mark on the British Championship. He's been nagging him about clean breaking and holding the referee there, Steve G. But at least he's given Ferdinand the full test that we've been looking for, Jim.
Yeah, and it's given us a chance to judge Ferdinand, and I'm quite impressed by him. I'm also impressed by his work rate. I know it's only a 6-rounder, but it's a 6-3-minute rounder, and he's never stopped, and every punch he throws has full power behind it. So obviously the man must be training properly and living properly. So I think all in all it's a good afternoon's work for him. If he settles for a points win, there's not a thing wrong with that. It's been good experience for him.
Yes, it's make sure that he knows now he can't take opponents out with every punch he throws. Had 2 first-round wins and 2 third-round wins. Well, I've seen G, a dozen, 15 so times, and he's always hung in there with the best of opposition, including on the Joe Bugner Marvish Frazier in Atlantic City when he fought Mike Perkins, and made that a very close one too.
You've got to work. Come on. That's it. Work. And again.
So then inside the last minute with this heavyweight scrap, and it looks as though Steve G is going to defy all Big Ferdinand's heavy blows. He is really a powerful man, isn't he? Look, you're almost in there with him.
Keep working, Steve. Come on. That's it. And again, Steve. Keep him there. Come on, work away.
Good brave battle by G, but he won't get the decision. A nice friendly sort of cuddle there with the Midlanders. And Keith Ferdinand then wins his 5th successive professional fight.